The news landed like a thunderclap across British politics in early March 2026. A national security investigation had led to the arrest of 3 men accused of assisting a foreign intelligence service, and one of them was closely tied to Parliament itself. David Taylor, a 39-year-old political advisor and communications consultant, was taken into custody by counter-terrorism police. But what truly pulled the public into the story was his personal connection. Taylor is the husband of Joani Reid, the Member of Parliament representing East Kilbride and Strathaven in Scotland. Almost overnight, a private family matter became a national political crisis. While police examined serious allegations involving foreign intelligence, Reid found herself facing intense scrutiny that threatened to derail a career she had only recently begun in Westminster. The arrests were announced on March 4, 2026. Officers from the Metropolitan Police's Counter-Terrorism Command conducted coordinated operations across multiple locations in the United Kingdom. David Taylor was arrested in London, while 2 other men, Matthew Aplin, aged 43, and Steve Jones, aged 68, were detained in Wales. Police said the arrests were made on suspicion of assisting a foreign intelligence service under the National Security Act 2023. Investigators confirmed that the operation was part of a wider inquiry into possible foreign interference targeting the United Kingdom's democratic institutions. According to officials, the investigation was linked to suspected intelligence activities connected to China. Authorities explained that assisting a foreign intelligence service can involve a range of activities, including sharing sensitive information, helping foreign operatives gain access to networks, or supporting influence campaigns designed to shape political decisions. While police did not initially release detailed evidence publicly, they stressed that the case was being treated as a serious national security matter. The National Security Act 2023 had been introduced specifically to address growing concerns about espionage and covert political influence from foreign governments. As part of the investigation, police searched several properties connected to the suspects. Locations in London, Cardiff, and East Kilbride were examined by investigators. Scottish police assisted by carrying out searches in Scotland on behalf of the Metropolitan Police. Officers collected documents and electronic devices that could potentially help them understand whether sensitive information or political contacts had been used inappropriately. Officials confirmed that the investigation was ongoing and that detectives were carefully analyzing the evidence gathered during these searches. Within hours of the arrests becoming public, attention turned sharply toward Joani Reid. As a sitting member of Parliament, she suddenly found herself in the middle of a controversy that had nothing to do with her own actions, but could still shape her political future. Reid quickly issued a statement acknowledging that her husband had been arrested. At the same time, she made it clear that she had never seen any indication that he was involved in illegal activity. She stressed that she had no involvement in his professional work and had never been aware of any activities connected to foreign intelligence. Reid also tried to draw a clear line between her work in Parliament and the allegations surrounding Taylor. She pointed out that she had never traveled to China and had not participated in any parliamentary discussions about China during her time in office. She also said she had not submitted parliamentary questions about China and had never lobbied on behalf of Chinese interests. By sharing those details, Reid aimed to reassure both the public and her colleagues that her role as a lawmaker had never intersected with the issues under investigation. The Labour Party responded swiftly once the arrests were confirmed. Party leaders described the allegations as extremely serious and said the matter had been referred to the party's governance and legal unit for internal review. Meanwhile, Reid took a step that many political observers saw as an effort to protect both her party and her reputation. She voluntarily suspended herself from the Labour parliamentary group while the investigation continued. That decision meant she would sit in the House of Commons as an independent member of Parliament until the situation became clearer. Reid later described the experience as one of the most difficult moments of her life. The sudden wave of headlines, public speculation, and political pressure created a deeply personal challenge for her and her family. Although she was not accused of wrongdoing, the intense focus on her husband meant that every aspect of her career and personal life was being examined by journalists and political opponents alike. In her public remarks, Reid asked the media to respect the privacy of her children, reminding reporters that they had no connection to the investigation. While the arrests dominated headlines in 2026, understanding the story requires looking further back at the careers of the three men involved. David Taylor had spent much of his professional life working in politics and public affairs. Over the years, he held positions that placed him close to government institutions and political decision-makers. Earlier in his career, Taylor worked as a political advisor connected to the Labour Party. He served in the office of Peter Hain, who was Secretary of State for Wales from 2002 to 2008. Advisors in such roles often help government ministers with communications, policy planning, and relationships with other political figures. The experience placed Taylor within a network of political professionals who regularly interact with lawmakers, civil servants, and interest groups. Later, Taylor moved into the field of communications consulting. Business records show that he became the director of a company called Earthcot Limited. The firm provided services in public relations, messaging strategy, and political communications. Companies like this often assist businesses, charities, and advocacy groups that want to communicate effectively with the public or government officials. Taylor also became involved with Asia House, a London-based think tank that promotes dialogue and partnerships between Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The organization hosts conferences, research programs, and networking events focused on trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. In September 2024, Taylor reportedly joined Asia House as Director of Policy and Programs. In that role, he helped organize discussions and initiatives involving business leaders, academics, and policymakers interested in international cooperation. His career had also included a direct attempt to enter elected politics. In 2016, Taylor ran as the Labour candidate for the position of Police and Crime Commissioner in North Wales. Police and crime commissioners oversee policing priorities in their regions and are elected by the public. Although Taylor did not win the race, the campaign demonstrated his interest in public office and his connections within Labour political networks. During that same period, Taylor participated in charity activities and international travel connected to philanthropic causes. Reports noted that he took part in a charitable trip to Nepal linked to a foundation supported by Princess Beatrice. There has never been any suggestion that members of the royal family were involved in or connected to the later investigation. Matthew Aplin, the second man arrested in the 2026 operation, also had experience in political communications. He had previously worked as a press officer for Labour politicians in the Welsh Parliament, known as the Senedd. Press officers play a crucial role in modern politics by managing relationships with journalists and shaping how political messages are presented to the public. The third suspect, Steve Jones, had decades of experience in political advisory roles. At various points, he served as a special advisor to the Welsh government. Special advisors are political appointees who work closely with ministers, helping them shape policy decisions and communicate political strategies. Because of their proximity to government leadership, such advisors sometimes have access to sensitive information or important political networks. The fact that all three men had backgrounds in politics raised concerns among security experts when the arrests were announced. Intelligence agencies around the world often attempt to recruit individuals who have direct or indirect access to government systems. Such people can potentially provide information, introductions, or insights that might benefit foreign intelligence operations. The legal framework used in the arrests was the National Security Act 2023. This law represented a major update to the United Kingdom's approach to countering espionage and foreign interference. For decades, the country relied on older legislation that critics argued was not strong enough to deal with modern intelligence tactics. The 2023 law introduced new offenses, including assisting foreign intelligence services and participating in covert influence campaigns. Under this legislation, police can investigate individuals suspected of helping foreign governments gather information or influence political decisions. The law also gives authorities stronger powers to search properties, seize evidence, and detain suspects during national security investigations. Following their arrests, Taylor, Aplin, and Jones were questioned by investigators. After several days of interviews, police confirmed that all three men had been released on bail while the inquiry continued. Their bail conditions extended into May 2026, giving detectives time to review the evidence they had collected. Meanwhile, the political context surrounding the case added to its significance. Relations between the United Kingdom and China had become increasingly tense in recent years. British officials had expressed concern about alleged espionage efforts and attempts to influence political discussions in Western democracies. Intelligence agencies in several countries had issued warnings about foreign actors targeting lawmakers, researchers, and political advisors. In response to these concerns, British security officials had strengthened monitoring of potential foreign interference activities. Government leaders emphasized that protecting democratic institutions was a priority. Security Minister Dan Jarvis told lawmakers that the government had raised concerns directly with Chinese officials and would take firm action if evidence showed that foreign agents had attempted to interfere in British politics. The investigation also prompted warnings inside Parliament itself. Sir Lindsay Hoyle, Speaker of the House of Commons, reminded parliamentary staff about the potential risks posed by foreign intelligence operations. He encouraged vigilance and urged anyone working in or around Parliament to report suspicious approaches or unusual requests for information. For Joani Reid, the situation created a difficult balancing act between personal loyalty and public responsibility. She had built her political career by advocating for her constituents in East Kilbride and Strathaven. After being elected in the 2024 general election, she joined the Home Affairs Select Committee in Parliament. That committee reviews policies related to policing, immigration, national security, and public safety. Because of that role, the investigation involving her husband attracted even more attention. Critics questioned whether the situation could affect her work on security-related issues. Supporters argued that she had acted responsibly by stepping back from her party while the investigation continued. Reid continued to maintain that she had done nothing wrong. She repeatedly emphasized her commitment to democratic principles, including freedom of speech, free elections, and independent institutions. She also stressed that she would cooperate with any internal reviews or inquiries connected to the case. Behind the political headlines was a family trying to navigate an unexpected crisis. Reid and Taylor share 2 children, and the sudden media spotlight placed intense pressure on their household. Reid's request for privacy reflected concerns about the emotional impact such publicity can have on families, particularly children who are not involved in political or legal matters. Looking back through the timeline of events, the story reveals how quickly personal relationships can become part of national conversations when public office is involved. A career built over many years can suddenly be overshadowed by events outside a politician's control. For David Taylor, the investigation represented a dramatic turning point in a life previously defined by political work and communications consulting. For Matthew Aplin and Steve Jones, it meant facing scrutiny over their own past connections to political institutions. And for Joani Reid, it meant confronting a challenge that could influence the trajectory of her career in Parliament. As of early 2026, the investigation had not yet reached a final conclusion. Police continued to analyze evidence while the suspects remained on bail. Prosecutors would eventually need to decide whether charges should be filed under the National Security Act. Until that decision is made, the case remains unresolved. Yet its impact is already clear. It has sparked renewed debate about foreign interference, highlighted the pressures faced by public officials, and demonstrated how national security investigations can quickly intersect with personal lives. The outcome of the investigation will ultimately determine how the story is remembered. For now, it stands as a reminder that in the world of politics, events behind closed doors can suddenly become front-page news, changing lives and careers in ways no one could have predicted. Thank you for watching. What do you think about this case involving David Taylor, Joani Reid, Matthew Aplin, and Steve Jones? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss an update.